Good morning from Bear Mountain. Here we are in our basement looking at one of our plant stands where we grow seedlings that need cooler temperatures to germinate. So it's in a daylight basement, and I'm showing the plant stand, but I'm really going to talk about a little problem, a little accident that happened with one of our trays of Snapdragons. So stay tuned. Well, here we are in the greenhouse, and I'm looking at a tray of mini blocks of Snapdragons. These are our winter Snapdragons that we will plant in a couple of months, and then we'll have them grow through the winter and come out with spring blooms. And as you can see, it looks like I have terrible germination, but that's not the case. What happened was that all of these mini blocks germinated. But for the longest time, I thought I had a case of where the stalk would come up, but the little seed at the very top was encapsulating it still and wasn't letting the leaves out. It was on some, but it wasn't on others. And I thought, darn, it's doing that again. So I misted it, made sure that there was plenty of moisture to break that capsule, and nothing. And when I compared it to the other trays that were seeded exactly the same time, they all busted out of that little seed capsule and put out their first little leaves, and these ones never did. So got out the magnifying glass, and sure enough, when you go in and you look a lot closer, thanks Callie for barking, you can see there is no top. So I had to figure out what the heck happened to the little top. And so I took the tray apart and looked and looked and looked, and I found a little invader. So when I removed the tray of the actual mini blocks and looked at the solid tray and the cap layering mat inside, I couldn't find anything. I had washed everything. The tray, the mat was all clean and brushed off, and it was all clean. The outside tray that we hold our trays in to protect them was also clean. And the bottom of the mini block tray was also clean. So I got out the magnifier and I looked closely, and I have a couple of examples of just tiny little pieces of vermiculite in here. And I looked at all of those, and one didn't look quite right. So I picked it up and squished it, and lo and behold, it squished. It was the tiniest little slug I had ever seen. And apparently that slug had been dining on my Snapdragons. That little slug had eaten all the little tops off of my Snapdragons. And I think if I hadn't caught him, or her, would have finished off the rest of the snaps. So I can only guess that the place it was hiding was under the lip of one of these trays, because everything else had been perfectly clean, and that only place I hadn't looked was under the lip. So I am frustrated. This means instead of moving on, because I have foxglove and other things to seed, I have to redo this tray of Snapdragons. Didn't need to have this setback, It's probably not critical, and I probably still have plenty of time, although it seems like the season is sort of rushing to an end, and I feel kind of overwhelmed to get everything that I need to seeded. But I just got to do what I got to do. So, tip for you all, if you leave your trays or any parts of the trays outside, which we unfortunately had to do because our greenhouse is really tiny and it's not enough room in here, that you better check all parts of the tray to find if there's any little hitchhikers that are trying to come into your seed operation. Apparently in a day or so they can do a whole lot of destruction. So that's my sort of tip of the day. Don't let something eat your snapdragons. Oh well, guess I gotta get started on seeding. I'm gonna let these guys grow a little bigger so that I can carefully get them out of there. I have a whole new tray of mini blocks and I'm gonna reseed again. And so this doesn't looked like it had very good germination, but really it was fantastic. So that's why I want to make sure that I do it again. So I guess I better get started with it. So thank you for taking a view of one of my frustration videos. And if you like what you see, subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And wish you a good day from Bear Mountain. Thank you. Bye.